談しようとしているのか。
地元の茶葉ですのでお口に合いますかどうか。
良いお手前で。バットモービル、バットウィングも失った。だがまだこの体がある。
Why does humankind explore the depths of the ocean?
Hi everyone, and welcome to Bear Clooney Watches channel. And in slightly unusual fashion, we're continuing this trend of going straight to Bear Clooney Watches studio, all in purpose of saving some time. And today we are looking at a new addition to Bear Clooney's collection from Seiko Prospex line, which is Seiko SRP787 Black and Blue Turtle reissue. I was so sure I'm gonna love this watch because simply I'm very familiar with the original Turtle. I have in my collection a Seiko 6105, and I did a video earlier on this wonderful iconic timepiece made so popular by a famous movie, Apocalypse Now. Please check my channel for the video and check out my vintage Turtle. Now, this is a beautiful timepiece. I like to call it Batman Ninja. I have a Rolex Batman watch, and I certainly find appeal in a black and blue configuration of the bezel. I think it's kind of cool, and it's nice to have now diver with this color configuration. It is just amazing how the Seiko die watch fans in Southeast Asia get the first dibs on the most beautiful Seiko watches. It's not much different in this situation. Now, as I mentioned earlier to you, this is the watch which has the cushion-shaped case. As you can see, that's a very unique to the Turtle watches, and comes in a 44.3 millimeter wide lug to lug. Height is approximately 48 millimeter, which is also what contributes to wearability of this watch. So you got a large watch that actually sits very nicely on average wrist. My wrist is 7.25 inches, and you can see this watch sits so nicely. It's not too thick. It has a beautiful design. It has so much heritage in it, and this little blue and black combo certainly contributes to aesthetics and appeal of this Batman Ninja. I haven't sized it yet. The pins are the issue. I don't want to play around with it. I prefer to go to my watchmaker, and he will, as usually, help me out and nicely size this watch. I can't wait to make this part of my wristwatch rotation. The lug width is 22 millimeter. So, as I mentioned, this is not oversized watch. As someone who has a preference for regular or smaller size watches, I can't help but love the proportions on this beautiful timepiece. The size feels purposeful and not bloated in the way so many modern divers are. The case is rounded towards the bottom and the crown is recessed, so nothing digs into the wrist. So you know what? I had a debate with two great friends about these left-handed crown positions on this side, and I just can't get used to it. I simply cannot accept that layout. Is it just that I'm not used to it? I don't know. But if you really find it bothersome to have a crown at 3 o'clock, this is the option where you're gonna find it probably more comfortable. But I would never wear a left-handed configuration of the crown here. The bezel is 120 click, and it is unidirectional diver bezel. It's not as great as the Sumo that I was featuring earlier, but it's decent bezel. It's not problematic in any way. It's smooth, and I think it's working well. One thing, it is beautiful. I mean, to me, this blue and black configuration is truly perfect. And the old question, the alignment, I found again this watch out of the box, perfectly aligned, and I think there is no issues and deficiencies with quality control. But that's usually not the issue, at least in my experience, when the timepieces are Japanese domestic market. So it is aluminum bezel, and it has the shielded Lume peep. One thing I also like is how they coordinated the minute hand to be blue framed and kind of play off this blue section of the bezel. Hardlex is the crystal, as it's expected on the Prospex line. I already mentioned numerous times in my videos that I have no issue with Hardlex. I find that it serves purpose really well. It doesn't scratch easy. It has a nice appearance. You will also see at the back the Tsunami logo. I always find it so beautiful, and it's on the center. There's some specks along the edge. It's finished really well with a light circular brushing, emphasizing this sculptural tsunami. One curious thing on this is that it reads air diver above the Seiko logo, and what that basically refers to, that this is a tool designated for the scuba diving where is used air mixture is suitable. It doesn't have a helium valve, so that's basically what they are referring to. The dial is a reproduction of the dial on a vintage piece. It has some features that maybe can be arguably upgrades over the original. Similarities include a date function at the 3 o'clock, seen through a beveled window. The hilted sword separating the two markers at 12 o'clock, the iconic sword and arrow hand. Now, I mean, it's an interesting design on this second hand with this lollipop on the end, which is acting as a counterweight. I'm kind of slightly curious about that design choice, because I don't think it actually has any effect on the actual functionality of the watch, and I think it's done purely for aesthetic reasons. Does anyone else find it slightly strange? I don't know. There are moments I think it's kind of cool, but there are moments I think I would have got away without it. The markers are bold and legible, exactly what you want in the tool die watch. You know, one detail that you cannot see from the Seiko official images, and they always suck in their official images, they never really give you true representation of really awesome watches they make, is this a very fine metallic borders. And you can see in this watch they're blue, and they nicely match these blue touches of this wonderful watch. And I think that adds to overall charm of this Batman Ninja, as I call it. Now, some might complain that this watch is slightly text heavy. I find it appropriate. I think this pyramid layout that starts with X symbolizing Prospex makes sense, and it doesn't affect me negatively. Movement is very highly dependable. 4R36 caliber movement, which hacks, and what that basically means is that once you pull the crown out, the second hand will stop, and you will be able to synchronize your timepiece properly. And it has a 25 joules. Sorry, the beat rate is 21,600 beats per hour. It has a 41 power reserve, solid Seiko movement, certainly step above the 7S26, but a notch below the 6R15, which is Seiko's answer to the ETA's 2824. The 4R36 is excellent movement built up from the ever reliable 7S26. One cool thing about this is that it actually can be adjusted for a great accuracy. It's not a difficult thing to do for a good watchmaker, and I will definitely look into it. It has the mainspring and balance made from Seiko Spron material, which better handles positional and temperature variances. And it's just a movement that doesn't require a lot of service. It's dependable and simply great choice. Now, bracelet on this watch. Clasp is nothing to brag about. Nothing to brag about. Bracelet not bad. I mean, for the price point of $500 US, this watch retails. This is a solid bracelet, and it certainly is not going to disappoint you, because frankly, those of us who are into Seiko watches don't have the highest expectations when it comes to bracelet on these timepieces. I think that Seiko got this watch right. I think that ultimately so many brands today rely on their archives for their current releases. There is definitely trend of reissuing great heritage pieces, and not everyone successfully does it. Seiko brought back the 6309 the right way, modernizing the build but keeping the general feel and aesthetics, and I can tell you that with certainty because I do have a vintage turtle, and there's no question in my mind that this is the best sub 500 diver on the market. So if you are looking for value, appropriate, a proper dive tool watch, don't look further. This is definitely a timepiece you should be going after. Now, you don't necessarily need to go with this color coordination. This is something I picked because of my personal taste. However, this style of the watch has been proven through decades and decades, and it's been on the wrist of many real divers. And even if you're a desk diver, this is a truly pretty timepiece, and quite able to wear it on your golf and polo shirts. I would not wear this on a suit. Maybe I would, who knows. I don't necessarily wear suit often, but if I do, maybe I would challenge the system of belief. Anyway, so this is the story about Batman Ninja, which I think is quite attractive timepiece. The timepiece with great heritage, the timepiece that can truly be utilized as a diver, and aesthetically quite pleasing. I thank you all for coming to my channel. If you like this video, please don't forget to click on like. If you want to join me in my search for a perfect timepiece, please subscribe to this channel. I really appreciate your support in any shape or form. Wishing you all great day. And this time, actually, I'm not going to forget. I am going to turn the lights off and show you a fantastic Lume on this timepiece. So just hang on for a second. As you can see immediately, the Lume is what Seiko divers are all about. Proper diving tools. Beautiful, eh? No question about it. It speaks for itself. I don't think any watches can compete with this type of Lume. Once again, thank you. Please subscribe. Please click on like. And I will do my best to provide content on a regular basis. Wishing you all the best. Bear Clooney. Take care. Thank you.